The Nottoway Resort. Grand. Majestic, some would say. But beneath the polished floors and towering columns, a darkness festers. This isn't just any old building, mind you. It's a place steeped in history. A history stained with sorrow and unexplained energies. Nottoway felt different from the moment we stepped onto its sprawling grounds. The air itself seemed thick, heavy with unspoken secrets and the echoes of past lives. It was a palpable presence, a silent watcher in the opulent halls. We felt it instantly, an oppressive atmosphere that clung to us like a shroud. The temperature would drop suddenly, inexplicably in certain corridors. Whispers seemed to dance on the edge of hearing, too faint to decipher, yet undeniably there. The staff would speak in hushed tones of strange occurrences, of doors creaking open on their own, of shadowy figures glimpsed from the corner of an eye. This wasn't just old house groans. This was something more, something intelligent, something ancient perhaps, stirring within those historic walls. You get a feeling in places like this, a sense of being scrutinized, of unseen eyes following your every move. The weight of Nottoway's past was immense, a crushing burden that seemed to permeate the very fabric of the building. Each room held a story, each artifact a connection to souls long departed. And then there was the main attraction, the temporary exhibit housing the infamous Annabelle doll. Her reputation preceded her, a chilling saga of demonic claims and unsettling activity. The thought of that doll, that vessel of alleged darkness residing within Nottoway's already charged atmosphere, was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The tour group moved with a nervous energy. You could feel it, thick, palpable. They were heading towards the exhibit, towards her. Annabelle. The name itself was a whisper of fear on everyone's lips. Each step seemed to echo louder in the grand, silent halls of Nottoway. I've seen this many times. People drawn to the darkness, fascinated by what terrifies them most. It's human nature, I suppose. But this was different. The air was crackling, charged with an unseen current. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. We could almost taste the impending doom hanging heavy in the air. The guide, usually composed, seemed visibly shaken. His voice, when he finally spoke, trembled ever so slightly. He tried to maintain a professional demeanor, but his eyes darted nervously towards the display case. He fumbled with his notes. Then, the words, slow, deliberate. She's not there. A collective gasp sucked the remaining air from the room. Silence. A deafening, heart-stopping silence followed. The display case, meant to house one of the most feared objects in the paranormal world, was empty. Stark. Bare. A void where pure evil was supposed to reside. The shock was a physical blow. Disbelief. That was the first emotion to register on every face. It started with a whisper. A shaky photograph posted on some obscure forum. A cryptic tweet from someone claiming to be at Nottoway. Annabelle is gone. That was the spark. In the digital age, news, especially terrifying news, travels at the speed of light. There was no official confirmation, no verifiable source, just raw, unfiltered panic. But it didn't matter. The seed of fear had been planted, and it found fertile ground in the vast, interconnected web of social media. It was a digital scream that echoed across continents in mere minutes, a modern-day ghost story told in 280 characters or less. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram became ground zero for the explosion of fear. The hashtag #AnnabelleMissing started trending globally within the hour. Millions, perhaps even crores of posts flooded timelines. People shared the news with frantic warnings. Lock your doors, she's out! Memes, usually a source of humor, took on a sinister tone. The sheer volume of online chatter was overwhelming, a digital tsunami of hysteria. Every share, every comment, every terrified emoji amplified the narrative, building a colossal wave of collective dread. There was no time for fact-checking. The fear was too immediate, too visceral. The speed at which misinformation spread was truly astounding. Almost immediately, the wildest theories began to circulate, each more terrifying than the last. This wasn't just a case of a missing doll. Oh no, this was far more sinister in the collective imagination. Some claimed Annabelle had entered into a new demonic pact, gaining unprecedented power to teleport herself out of containment. Others whispered of dark rituals performed, opening a portal from which she and perhaps other entities had escaped. The internet buzzed with speculation that she was actively seeking a new human host, her glassy eyes scanning the world for her next victim. The narrative was pure, unadulterated horror. Then came the eyewitness accounts. Blurry photographs of a doll-like figure lurking in moonlit gardens near the Nottoway Resort started appearing online. People reported strange, childlike laughter echoing in empty streets late at night, miles away from Louisiana. One particularly vivid account, which went viral, described a truck driver who swore he saw Annabelle sitting calmly on the passenger seat of a passing car on a desolate highway, her head slowly turning to stare at him. These stories, though completely unverified and likely fabricated, added immense fuel to the already raging fire of panic, making the unbelievable seem terrifyingly real. Self-proclaimed paranormal experts and online influencers seized the moment naturally. Each offered their own chilling interpretations, their own dire warnings. Some conducted emergency live streams, analyzing the evidence with grave faces, predicting catastrophic consequences. They spoke of ley lines, demonic hierarchies, and the urgent need for spiritual warfare. As the global panic reached a fever pitch, with calls for national alerts and even military intervention in some wilder corners of the internet, the authorities finally stepped in. Officials from the Warren Occult Museum, the true home of the Annabelle doll, began issuing statements. They were likely inundated with frantic calls and messages from people around the world. Local Louisiana authorities, near the Nottoway Resort, also had to address the growing kerfuffle, assuring the public that there was no demonic doll on a rampage in their jurisdiction. The voice of reason began, slowly but surely, to pierce through the cacophony of fear. The debunking, when it came, was almost anticlimactic in its simplicity. Annabelle had never been at the Nottoway Resort to begin with. The entire premise of her escape from there was false. The real Annabelle doll remained securely encased in her blessed cabinet at the Warrens Museum in Connecticut, as she had been for years. The rumor, it turned out, likely started from a misunderstanding, a mistranslation, or perhaps even a deliberate online prank that spiraled wildly out of control. There was no dramatic escape, no teleportation, just a good old-fashioned internet hoax that everyone fell for, hook, line, and sinker. Initially, there was a strange resistance to the truth. Some people seemed almost disappointed that the terrifying saga wasn't real. They had invested so much emotion, so much fear into the narrative that letting go was difficult. Online forums buzzed with conspiracy theories, suggesting the debunking itself was a cover-up, a way to lull the public into a false sense of security. But eventually, the overwhelming evidence and official confirmations began to take hold. Relief, tinged with a slight embarrassment for some, started to replace the widespread panic. So why did it happen? Why did millions across the globe instantly believe that a demonic doll had escaped? Reflecting on the Annabelle hoax, it tapped into our fascination with mystery and the unknown. We crave stories. The more thrilling and terrifying, the better. The idea of a malevolent entity breaking free is timeless, and Annabelle was the perfect modern villain. The power of suggestion and collective hysteria is immense. Once people started believing and sharing the news, it created a feedback loop of fear. Seeing others panic makes us more likely to panic ourselves, even without concrete evidence. Social media acted as an echo chamber, amplifying the initial fear until it became a roar. It was a reminder of how contagious fear can be, spreading faster than any virus. Our brains are wired to react to perceived threats, and this felt very threatening to many. Annabelle's legend played a massive role. Thanks to popular films and paranormal coverage, she was already a household name, synonymous with demonic activity and fear. This wasn't just any doll. This was Annabelle. The groundwork of belief had already been laid. For many, her supposed escape wasn't a leap of faith. It was a plausible next chapter in her story. The narrative was primed, needing only a nudge to set the panic in motion. Ultimately, the Annabelle hoax, though false, highlights our fascination with the paranormal. Even after the debunking, a little thrill of the what-if likely lingers for some. There's a part of us that wants to believe in things beyond our everyday understanding, in mysteries that science cannot fully explain. The search for answers about life, death, and what lies beyond is a fundamental human quest.